Let us quickly review Expressionism. You know that Expressionism is a movement that doesn't have a manifesto or a main representative, but it had a strong influence in American drama in the 20th century. It started, of course, in the realm of painting. At the very end of the 20th century in Germany. It aimed at conveying the personal mood of the artist, his or her subjectivity. But more precisely, the artist's extreme, disturbing emotional experiences, usually influenced by the First World War. Thus, we will see a distortion of form and the use of violent, bright colors. Art, expressionist art, is supposed to transmit an emotional state, the subjectivity of the artist. And these emotions usually have to do with pain, misery, anxiety, typical of modernists. An anxiety brought about by the loss of certainties. So we have extreme subjectivity in Expressionism and an emphasis on the inner vision of the artist. That is to say, his or her expression over the representation of reality, that is what Impressionist artists seek to do. This is a paradigmatic example of Expressionist painting, The Scream by Edward Munch, and then we see the distortion of the form of the character, the main character being depicted, the bypassers, the sky and the river, and we see these bright colors, okay, of the sky, whereas the person screaming looks a lot more lurid, opaque, in contrast to the bright sky. And as this movement advances, it becomes more and more abstracted, because the inner reality of artists is not something that can be depicted in a realistic way. So this is another paradigmatic example of abstract expressionism, a painting by Wassily Kandinsky on white too. Now, how does all of that translate into literature, more precisely into drama? Let us bear in mind that the emphasis for Expressionism is the projection onto the exterior reality of those internal, intense emotions of characters or of artists, in the case of the visual arts. So in the case of drama, we have characters that are disturbed, emotionally disturbed, taken to the extreme situations. Their speech is elliptical, that is, there are omissions. It is telegraphic, and this is in relation to the use of fragmented language. They repeat phrases in cyclical ways. They use mechanistic movements more than natural movements. And they are usually types rather than individuals. Sometimes they don't even have a name, but they are simply called the wife, the husband, so on and so forth. Sometimes in expressionist drama, characters wear masks. As to the set design and soundscape, because characters project their inner worlds onto external reality, we have a distortion of the setting, which is carried out by the setting proper, but also by experimental or unrealistic lighting. Remember that we are in the age of electricity, and therefore, well, that means that electricity has become, the use of electricity has become more widespread, and this is so for theaters, right? So there is this new tool which playwrights and directors can use to convey something of the inner struggles of characters onto the stage. Sometimes expressionist plays use projections onto screens of text or images, reinforcing or contradicting what characters say. There is an unrealistic atmosphere created by the use of lighting, by the use of projections, by the use of music and chanting, and different sound effects, also favored by the widespread use of electricity. And we also see the use of symbols being brought on stage. Symbols that can be associated with light, with costumes, with props, or by the content of what characters are actually saying.